Can you just describe the concept of 3D negotiation?
Yeah. Um, if you go to sort of almost any standard negotiation seminar, and there are endless ones, whether it's airplane magazines or wherever, you'll find seminars on negotiation. And the major focus tends to be what you do at the table. The direct, interpersonal, tactical kind of how you meet objections, how you make your case, how you're persuasive in the moment, how you handle cross-cultural potential friction, stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's at the table. And that's important. You can make or break a deal there. But there are two other dimensions that I find great negotiators do very much of. And the second is what you might think of as deal design. And that's the art and science of crafting agreements that unlock value, obviously economic, but often psychological or personal or reputational that unlock value, meaning whatever you or they care about, and do so in a sustainable way. So there's tactics, deal design, and then what I have found the most effective negotiators and the greatest leverage in a negotiation comes from what we call the third dimension or setup. And that's all the moves that you make away from the table to make sure that you've got the right parties brought into the process in the right sequence, dealing with the right set of issues by the right process, and critically facing the right consequences of no deal. In other words, it's kind of the architecture of negotiation. So a great 3D negotiator is a sort of an architect of the process, a deal designer on the substance, and a tactician with respect to the people. So it's really those three. And I tend to find most people's phrase when they think negotiation, they think the tactics. And that's obviously important. But the more deals I do, whether they're small or large, the more I realize that the setup of a negotiation, have you got the right parties? Are they involved? Are you dealing with an agent who's filtering stuff through their own agenda? Is there, have you really the architecture, and that also has to do with the sequence, of the process, both who you bring in, the way that you deal, with the issues and so forth. Lots and lots of examples of this that we could go into, but that's where I think that's probably what distinguishes our approach. And when I say our, I'm thinking less of my work as an academic, but Harvard, like many universities, lets their faculty do 20% of their time outside, and that which is basically a day a week or about 50 days a year. And I have an outside firm, and we advise companies and governments from small to large. And there, and that's where the setup moves tends to be our real differentiator, because there are lots of people who are pretty good interpersonally, but that piece is especially key. Now, sometimes the setup is really simple, and frankly, one of the most important pieces of the setup is you focused on somebody who might be buying your business